Good afternoon, Rip City. Welcome in to an early Sunday edition of Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you, getting you ready for Blazers versus Grizzlies, game 4 of this team's 5-game road trip. Looking to get another win after a tough road game in Detroit just a few nights ago. I am your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And of course, you can hit us up on YouTube. Just type in Rip City Radio or the brand new fancy text line. Just text 88528. Standard text messaging rates apply. All right, let's get down to the nitty gritty of what happened just a few nights ago in Detroit. The Blazers took on the 17-5 Pistons, a chance to upset the number one team in the Eastern Conference. And as we pointed out many times, the team has been playing well, but Detroit also had quite the easy schedule up to this point, playing some of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference during that 13-game win streak. In fact, I think the best team they played on that win streak was Orlando, which is like the fifth team in the East. A lot of Indiana, Brooklyn, Washington, those types of games. But they're still a good team. When you have those opportunities and you win those games, you're doing exactly what you need to do. So the Blazers come into town, and quite frankly, it was a game that the Blazers, I thought, matched up well enough with them that if everything went right, they could pull the upset. Unfortunately, not everything went right. Donovan Clingan was a late scratch in this one due to a leg contusion he suffered in the previous game. Dealing with that, he may or may not play today. Robert Williams as well, out with an illness. So Robert Williams not played tonight, but got the start in that one. He got the start, played big minutes. And of course, when your team is down a couple bodies, and the Blazers have been down quite a few bodies all year long, you know, it's going to be rough. You have to be absolutely on your game. The Blazers had their moments in this one at the end of the night. It's three players fell out. Three players fell out. At that point, they only had six healthy bodies, and that was tough to overcome. And also, Robert Williams, his injury update, he is questionable for today's game in Memphis. We'll see if he is a go or not. Now, taking a look at what happened in that game, the Blazers were up 17-0 early, but then Detroit went on a quick 7-0 run to tie it all up at the 5-minute mark. The Pistons were up 30-28 after the first quarter. Denny Avdia led the team with 12 points as the Blazers were battling the best team in the East. The Pistons pushed their lead out to 58-45 in the second quarter. At that point, it was their largest lead of the night. Portland allowed 13 points off of turnovers at that point in the game, and the game was a 13-point game. So you could directly point to one thing that was leading to that big lead, but Portland went on a 9-2 run to cut the lead to 60-54. And at halftime, Blazers were doing their best. It was 62-58. At least we thought it was going into the locker room, but a late foul on Rob Williams gave Cade Cunningham 3 free throws, and it was 65-58 at halftime. Denny had 19 points. Jeremy Grant had 15. In the third quarter, the Blazers doing their best to make this a ball game. They opened up, outscoring the Pistons 11-7. They cut the lead to 72-69 with a timeout at the 5:30 mark. The Blazers had tied it up 73 all. They had gone on an 8-0 run. After that, they had made it an 80-73 Trailblazers lead. That 8-0 run, all from the free throw line, and the Blazers were up 85-84 heading in to the fourth quarter. At that point in the game, Denny Avdia had 29 points. Then in the fourth quarter, the Pistons started on a 10-6 run, and this is where it started to get hairy. Tumani Kamara had fouled out. Sidi Sissoko fouled out late in the game, and Chris Murray fouled out. So they were down three guys, and they only came into this game with 10. Like, that's rough. Rough. Ryan Repair only played 3 minutes, so they basically had a 9-man rotation. You lose 3, you're down to 6. So it's rough to come out of that and hard to get going in the fourth quarter, but they were trying. They were absolutely trying. Jeremy Grant hit a three-pointer and one with 3:43 left in the game. That gave the Blazers the lead. It was 105-103 pending the free throw, but then an 11-0 run at one point or it was an 11-0 run, excuse me, by the Blazers to make it 108 to 103. But then the Pistons, 12-2 run themselves. They got the lead back. They didn't give it back, and they win the game 122 to 116. They outscored the Blazers 38 to 31 in that fourth quarter. And again, it was a game that the Blazers played well. They were right there. They had the lead in the final few minutes, but it was just way too hard to overcome. As Travis said at one point during the broadcast, it was the first time since 2009 that three Trailblazers had fouled out in the same game. Absolutely brutal when you're already down quite a few players and your rotation is taking a hit. Overcoming that is something that just might not be able to be overcome. Taking a look at the box score, Tobias Harris had 10 points for the Pistons. Azur Thompson had 15, 18 points from Jalen Duren, 29 points from Cade Cunningham to go along with 9 assists, 14 points from Duncan Robinson. Ron Holland II had 17 points off of the Pistons bench. On the Trailblazers side of things, it was a three-man show. That's plain and simple. A three-man show. No one else showed up in this one to help out, and that's unfortunate. Jeremy Grant, 29 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He was 4 of 9 from beyond the arc. Shaden Sharp, 28 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. And Denny Avdia, 35 points, 9 rebounds, seven assists, another near triple double. Those three guys on the team with 28 or more, not a single other player in double digits. The most was Robert Williams and Sidi Sissoko, who each had 8 points. Tumani Kamara, not only did he foul out in this one, having a rough go at it, he only got 1 point. One. He was 0 of 4 from the field, including 0 of 3 from beyond the arc. He was 1 of 2 from the free throw line, accounting for his single point. He had 2 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 6 personal fouls. Not a good day when you have more fouls than you have points. In fact, Chris Murray, Tumani Kamara, and Sidi Sissoko combined for 18 fouls and just 9 points. Think about that for a second. The three guys that fouled out combined for 18 fouls and just 9 points. And they were led by Sidi Sissoko, who had 8 of those 9. Not a good day. Dwap Reith had 7 off the bench. Caleb Love did not score either. So a rough night in that aspect because I thought the big three in this game, Jeremy, Shaden, and Denny, did exactly what they needed to do, and they needed the supporting cast to show up. The supporting cast, they struggled. They absolutely struggled. So what are you going to do about that? I don't know. You can only do so much. You can only do so much. You go out there, you play the game. What happens, happens. And if you struggle, you struggle. You got the three guys that you need to show up every single day, showed up and did what they needed to do. The rest of the bench did not. That becomes like just tough. Just absolutely tough to bounce back from at any point. Especially when those guys foul out, you have no rotation, and you are just stuck, stuck, stuck. You are in the mud, the wheels are spinning, you are in trouble. I don't know what you do about that. You got to get your healthy bodies back. You got to figure something out. But on a night like that, especially after you get the win against Cleveland and you feel good, you watch the videos, you went and did film study in the hotel, and you go back and watch this one. You can sit there, go, oh, we got the shots we wanted, we did this, we did. You didn't play good outside of those big three, and that needs to change. Otherwise, you're going to struggle mightily against some of these teams you have to play. You would hope tonight in Memphis, it's not the same story. You hope you get what you got in Cleveland, where everybody's pitching in, everyone's doing what they need to do. You're getting more than just 3 players to fill up the box score, to score you points. You're getting those 17, 18-point games from guys like Tumani Kamara. You're getting Caleb Love to score. But when Tumani Kamara, who's your starting small forward and a guy who is, quite frankly, a pillar of what you're trying to build, yeah, you need more than 1 point out of him. Hopefully, he can rebound. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. And of course, you can hit us up on the brand new text line. Just text 88528 and we will answer your text messages there. We're going to take a quick break on game day. When we come back, it's time to head to the coach's corner. Want to hear what Coach Tiago Splitter had to say following that game in Detroit. This is Blazers Game Day on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. So the show, you know what to do. 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and hit us up on the brand new text line. Just text 88528, and we can get your text messages there. This is going to be a good game for the Blazers against a Memphis team that has been struggling this season as well. What kind of Ja Morant is going to show up is a question that they have every single game that they play. And you don't know what the future is there. Sometimes it feels like he might be there. Sometimes it feels like he's on the way out. Memphis comes into this game 10 and 13. So if they win this game, they'd be tied at 10 and 14. Memphis, for the last handful of games, they've won 4 of their last 5. They have won 6 of their last 8 or 9 here. Against a bad team, beat the Clippers, a bad team, beat the Kings, a bad team, beat the Clippers, a bad team. So similar to Detroit, they're going through a little bit of a streak here where they're playing good basketball, but they're beating some of the worst teams in the conference over that time. Their losses, it was Spurs. They're good. It was the Nuggets. They're good. It was the Spurs. They're good. The Cavs. They're good. The Celtics. They're good. The Knicks. They're good. The Thunder. They're good. Point is, like, there's they play the good teams and they struggle. They play the bad teams and they win. So what kind of performance do you get tonight against the Trailblazers? Do you get the team that plays like they do against a good team, or like they do against a bad team? Because the Blazers, you don't know which Blazer team's showing up, and that could be brutal. It could be brutal because for a Blazer fan, for a Blazer show, you don't know what Blazer team's going to show up. Like I said, the team that can beat the Thunder or the team that loses to the G League Lakers. That's rough. If you want to join the conversation, because Timmy Hammock said, "Holy tech audio." I responded, "Audio is fine." Val says, "He's just trying to communicate." I know. Timmy Hammock is a friend, and I'm being ornery back to him. I'm allowed to be ornery back to him. He was also texting me. I applaud my on-air producers. I just have to always pick on them when they're friends. That's all, Val. I understand he's communicating. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate the production of the YouTube as well as the radio. You guys help me out. I like that. So thank you. But Timmy is always going to get a little sass because it's fun. All right. I want to hear from Coach because speaking of sass, he was pretty short, and I don't know if it was so sweet. His post-game press conference lasted about a blink of an eye. And let's hear it. It is time for the Coach's Corner.
I think we make a couple mistakes, but I don't think that's the game. We fought hard. We won the rebound game. We got a lot of guys playing a lot of meters and playing hard. Guys playing out of their positions. We tried to junk it up a little bit the game, do different type of defenses, and I thought that we fought hard. Didn't have enough to finish the game, to be honest, but overall, I'm proud of them. They fought it. This is what we want to do every night. We compete, and we'll leave it there.
How difficult is it not only to have one guy foul up, but three, especially someone like Tumani, who's really the anchor of your defense?
No comments.
Seems as though both teams really got to the line a lot of times. Is it hard to get into a rhythm when it feels like you're constantly having stoppage of time?
Yeah, I mean, both teams play hard. They play aggressive. We drive the ball. They drive the ball. So in a similar way. I think we drive even more sometimes, but yeah, I don't want to comment about the free throws.
Good.
Thank you.
I told you Coach was short and sweet. I told you. You didn't want to believe me, even though I think you did. Yeah, first off, he didn't want to comment on Tumani Kamara fouling out, so that is him basically saying he didn't like the officiating without saying he didn't like the officiating. Got to keep that pocketbook intact. You don't want to get that fine, right? You don't want to. But also, he dropped the line. It's like he did the thing. It's like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme, right? Like where he's like he's flicking and pointing at the TV, or say the line, Bart, for all you Simpsons geeks. He did the line. Both teams played hard. Both teams played hard. God bless and good night. Like everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. We talked about it on the fifth quarter, which it's historic. It's awesome. If you're a Blazer fan, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Both teams play hard. Both teams play hard. God bless and good night.
God bless and good night. The great Rasheed Wallace. So funny that he dropped that line. But yeah, I thought the Blazers played hard, ran out of it late. Detroit flexed on them. They got what they needed to get done. But as we mentioned earlier, when you only have 6 bodies basically, and you have lost so many players to fouls. I mean, 3 players fouling out. As I mentioned, the first time that has happened since 2009. What do you do? What do you do? You got to do your best. We have talked about this multiple times. They need Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday. They need Damian Lillard, even though that's not going to happen this year. They need Matisse Thybulle. They need Blake Wesley. They need those guys. Without them, it is an absolute struggle. It's rough. And it just reared its ugly head against Detroit. It did. And so you do your best. You got to figure it out. Tonight against Memphis, though, you need more than the 3. You need more than Shaedon Sharpe. You need more than Denny Avdia. You need more than Jeremy Grant. You cannot have a 1-point performance from Tumani Kamara. You cannot have a 0-point performance from Chris Murray if he's going to play 30 minutes. You cannot have Caleb Love giving you a goose egg. You just can't. You just can't. That is a struggle that is going to be impossible to overcome. And that's what you saw in Detroit. And it's just the unfortunate part about how this team has to play right now. When you are down so many people, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And so when you talk about it, the standings and whatnot, and there's people who are disappointed that this team has struggled out the gate, that the Blazers sit there at 9-14. Right now, when you take everything into account, I think they're right where we thought they were going to be as a team playing for the play-in. And if the season ended right now, that's where they are. 10th place in the play-in. In the play-in. The schedule has been rough with a capital R and is only going to get easier down the stretch. So that's good. That's good. And we talk about health. There is, some help on the horizon because Scoot Henderson should be back probably right around the turn of the calendar. Drew Holiday should be back very soon. His original diagnosis was 1 to 2 weeks, so we're right on the brink of that time frame. Matisse Thybulle should be back eventually. So you're going to get reinforcements, and you're going to get everybody else ready to go. And if you play good basketball, you should be good. So you just got to keep playing good basketball. And I thought in that game against Detroit, they did, but no matter how good you play, you can't overcome the fact that with all due respect, you are starting and playing a 2-way guard in City Sissoko at point guard. You're playing him 30 minutes. You're playing a 2-way guard in Caleb Love. Depending on the situation, you are bringing Young Hansen up and having to play him big minutes when he's spending time with the G League. Chris Murray might not be a rotation player, but he's playing 30 minutes. All of that is tough to overcome at some point. As Gamian Skillard says in the chat, the schedule has made us grow some moxie. And I think that's a good way of putting it. I think that's a good way of putting it because it's helped this team, I think, step up to those challenges. And unfortunately, Gamian Skillard, which every time you comment, I must applaud you for how good that name is. Unfortunately, those growing pains happen. And sometimes they play with some swag and they learn to play through these tough games. They just can't get over the hump because they do. The inexperience bites them. The fact that they are playing, again, guys who are 2-way guys or into the rotation guys, starter minutes, bites them. But they learn from those experiences. Like, I am not dogging City Sissoko. I'm just pointing out the fact that he is a 2-way player who they are starting at guard right now and playing 22 minutes. And he would have played more had he not fouled out. And he's been playing his tail off for all things considered. But on a fully healthy roster, he's not playing above Scoot. He's not playing above Drew. He's not playing above Dame. If Dame is here, those things play into it. Now, when those guys go out there and give you their all, they're going to give you their all, and they're going to be competitive at times, but then they're going to find times where they fall short. And in Detroit, they fell just a little bit short. All right, this is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there as well. We're going to take a quick little break, and when we return, we're going to talk more about this Memphis team because they have been just up and down, just like your Trailblazers have. Can the Blazers take advantage? I would hope so. This is Blazers Game Day on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Get a win. Get back in the win column. Blazer fans want that, right? Just get back in the win column. Don't lose these games that you shouldn't lose. And Memphis, I think, clearly is a game that they should not lose. You can look at the standings and understand that Memphis is, yes, a game ahead of the Trailblazers right now. They come into this game at 10-13, while Portland is 9-14. But Memphis is also a team that just has not played to what perhaps their own expectations were. They have struggled all year long, just like the Trailblazers have, and there is a little bit of dysfunction. He obviously goes through changing head coaches, similar to what the Blazers had to do, even though it was really no fault of their own. And, a star who is in and then he's out, you don't quite know what Ja is going to do or what thing he's going to go viral for today that makes you go, oh gosh, here we go again. But as I talked about earlier, when you look through the Memphis Grizzlies schedule, they tend to beat the teams they should be. Those are the teams that are not very good. And they tend to lose to the teams that are in the top end. Again, you look at their last handful of losses. All their last losses, the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Spurs, the Cavs, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Thunder. Rockets, Pistons, Raptors, those are all playoff teams, all good teams. Their wins over their last stretch, as I've mentioned, they've won 6 of their last 8. Those wins, though, the Clippers, the Kings, the Clippers again, the Pelicans, the Mavericks, and the Kings again. Well, the Kings are the 3rd worst team in the Western Conference. The Clippers are the 2nd worst team in the Western Conference. The Pelicans are the worst team in the Western Conference. So they're getting wins, but they're getting wins against the bottom end. The Mavericks are another team they beat 102-96 about 8 games ago. Well, the Mavericks are the 4th worst team in the Western Conference. So that is what this Grizzlies team is. They are consistent to the fact that when they play the upper end, they struggle. When they play the bottom end, they tend to play well. So now you're playing the Blazers team that's right with them in the middle. So it should be a battle. It should be a contest. Should be, hopefully, a game the Blazers can take advantage of. Because the Blazers are inconsistent too, but are inconsistent. And for various reasons. Obviously, injuries play into that. But at one minute, they'll be beating the Thunder and beating the Nuggets and grabbing 2 wins over the Warriors. The next, they will be losing to the Lakers without LeBron, Luka, or Austin Reeves, or losing to whatever. Like it's just like, what? This team is okay. You beat the Thunder and you beat the Nuggets, and then you lost to the Dallas Mavericks. That type of performance. Oh, you lost to, as we mentioned, the South Bay Lakers. You lost to the Clippers, a team that now is not as good as you thought they were. They're inconsistent. The Grizzlies are consistent. They're just not great. The Blazers have the potential to be good. They're just very inconsistent. So which one gives first? Let's take a look at how Memphis kind of plays this game. They got that win in their last game against the Clippers, 107-98. Okay, Kawhi Leonard had 24 points in that game. He's still good when he wants to be, even though the Clippers are in shambles. On the Memphis side of things, they had good performances from Cedric Coward, who I know a lot of Blazer fans are watching. He had 23 points. Jalen Wells had 17 points. Zach Edey had 10 points and 10 boards. Vince Williams, he had just 3 points in that starting lineup. And again, Contavious Caldwell-Pope coming off the bench. They got Senti Aldama, Jack Landell, the who's who of names on that bench, let me tell you what. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a household name. He had 13 points, 3 rebounds in that game, played 31 minutes. So they have some decent talent in that starting lineup. They don't have a lot of depth, and I think that's why we've seen that consistency of playing good against the bad teams and bad against the good teams. So when you match up against a team like Portland, who is wildly inconsistent but has the ability to beat the good teams, but again also has the ability to lose to the bad ones, you don't necessarily know what type of game you're going to get. So if you're the Blazers, you have to find your consistency. If you want to beat this Memphis team today, you have to find your consistency. And how do you do that? You go back to those games you've played over this trip. And in that Cav game, I think the Blazers found it. And that was part of what Thiago Splitter said about playing all 48 minutes. And I will go back to it because I think it's one of the best quotes early on this year was after that loss in Toronto, saying that you need to treat every possession like it's gold. Every possession like it's gold. And the Blazers didn't do that in Toronto. They wake up, they watch film, they go to Cleveland, they treat every possession like gold. They take advantage of every opportunity. They play a full 48 minutes. Donovan Clingan said it after the game in Toronto too. We can't wait till halftime to wake up. We got to be ready to go from the jump. In that game against Detroit, I think they were. You watch that game, and it was ugly at times. But let's go back to what we were saying about who's playing. But they were locked in for most part. Focus slipped a couple times, and that's when you get into foul trouble. Obviously, you could tell by Thiago Splitter's response in the post-game press conference, wasn't a big fan of the officiating as a whole. But you got to focus, too, to not put yourself in the situation to do something that has only happened or has not happened in almost 20 years, and that is have 3 players foul out in one game. And then get that focus so that you're taking advantage of your shots. You're being aggressive. You're making your 3-pointers. You're making the teams work. When you become just the 3 guys and no one else, you also become incredibly easy to defend. You need everybody else to show up and give you something. Find your consistency. Because the inconsistency in the Blazers is not just from the games, but it is from player to player. Toumani Camara, for instance, fouls out. He has just 1 point in that game against Detroit. In that game against Cleveland, he did not foul out. He had four fouls, but he had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 17 points, was 5 of 7 from the floor, was a big reason they were able to win that game. In the game against Toronto, he was very good. 7 of 12 from the floor, 21 points. 4 fouls again, but 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Really, really good. So to go from a 21-point game where you're shooting 58% from the floor, and then 2 games later, you give the world a 1-point game where you shot 0% from the floor, that is inconsistent. So for the Blazers, they have to find their consistency. They are playing a Grizzly team that is consistent. They're just not great. The Blazers have potential to be really, really good at times. So you have to find your consistency. I feel like I'm like Reverend Lovejoy, like constancy. I will drop Simpsons references as much as possible and prove that I'm old and hopefully my listener base understands them because I really, really enjoy The Simpsons. But that's just what I feel like today. Like I feel like I'm giving the sermon. I'm just like the word of the day: consistency. Be consistent, and we're going to preach it. So the Blazers have to find their consistency. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day, in the long run, when you play good teams, if you lose. Like the Detroit game, you lose that game. Okay, well, they're the best team in the Eastern Conference. But you probably had a chance to upset them if you would have found that consistency in that game. Just start playing well. Play how we know this team can play when they are playing together. Give teams fits. Make them work. Remember what it was like the first few games? Anthony Edwards talking about how good the team was defensively. Lakers talking about it. Coach Kerr talking about it. Every single team they played, oh, this team's going to defend you. They're going to make you work. There's no going into Portland getting an easy win. It's kind of flipped on its head. So find that consistency. Make teams work. All right, this is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, or you can hit us up on the text line. Just text 88528, where we did get one text earlier. It says that Pistons game almost went like the Warriors game in like 2007 when the Warriors had Devin George foul out, no healthy bodies. George got to come back. That is a throwback. That is a throwback. That was like, wasn't that like Steph Curry's rookie year? I think that was Steph Curry's rookie year Let's look. Steph Curry basketball reference. I feel like it was towards the end of the year too. That was a weird game. That was a weird game. I know what we're referencing here. No healthy bodies. Everyone fouls out. Like that's a throwback, and that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like when you're sitting there and you're like, oh my gosh, another player fouled out. Whoa, what are we doing here? This is brutal. We have no idea what's going on. How are we supposed to get through this? How are we supposed to survive? We have no healthy bodies. Everybody's trying to get through the day, and you're making this hard. What's going on? I mean, you got to be Tiago Splitter sitting there just going, oh my goodness, what in the heck are we doing? This is wild. This is wild. Everyone's fouled out. I don't have any healthy bodies to start. What is going on? Oh my goodness. Yeah, so here we go. I found it. That game, it was the final game of the 2010 season. And the Warriors won that thing 122-116. The Warriors had 8 healthy bodies, but 2 of them weren't healthy. Anthony Morrow only played 9 seconds, and Ronnie Turiaf played 7 seconds because they had no healthy bodies. Chris Hunter played 5 minutes, and then he was also hurt, and that's when they put Devin George in. Steph Curry, Monte Ellis, Anthony Tolliver, Blazers legend, Reggie Williams played 48 minutes. Devin George played 42 minutes, 17 seconds, and he had 6 personal fouls. That is a throwback. Good reference there to the text, to our texter in the text line. That is a throwback. Gosh, the NBA is wild sometimes. Absolutely wild. You can look that one up. Go find the YouTube highlights. All right, we're going to take a quick little break here on Blazers Game Day. When we come back, it's our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to grab a victory over the Memphis Grizzlies? We'll let you know when we return here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. pair of two, man of many hats, having some fun here. If you want to join the conversation with us, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And of course, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, or hit us up on the text line at 88528. Standard text messaging rates apply. And big shout out to the throwback to that Golden State game. Gosh, that is so far gone. 16 years ago, pretty wild. But yes, Steph Curry's rookie year, final game of the season, no healthy bodies for Golden State. 4 of their players played 48 minutes, and they still won that game. And if you want to do a real throwback, since on this show we always look at the box scores, the real throwback is the fact that, Nick Batum on that night, he had 12 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. Rudy Fernandez had 8 points, 9 assists. Dante Cunningham, 13 points, 11 rebounds. Juwan Howard, 13 points, 4 rebounds. Andre Miller had 6 points and 2 assists. He played just 9 minutes. That was your starting lineup. Off the Trailblazers bench that night, Martell Webster, 18 points, including going 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Jared Bayless had 12 points and 9 assists. Jeff Ayers, 23 points, 4 rebounds. And Patty Mills, 11 points, 2 assists. LaMarcus Aldridge, Marcus Camby did not play. Oh, that is a throwback. I wish I was doing the 5th quarter in Blazers game day back then. Keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to beat the Golden State Warriors tonight? Well, all you need to do is show up, because the Golden State Warriors are just 25-56 on the season, facing the 50-win Blazers, and they have no healthy bodies. This should be a cakewalk. And then the 5th quarter would have been like, well, the Blazers didn't show up, and the injury-depleted Golden State Warriors, who had just 25 wins coming into the game, got win 26 on the back of a 48-minute performance from Anthony Tolliver. Steph Curry had 42 points in that game too. Holy smokes. That is just, it's just funny to look back at things sometimes and just laugh about how wild the NBA can be. So yeah, thanks to our text line for reminding us about some wild days in Trailblazers history. Also, that 42-point performance. Steph Curry's very first 40-point game. Classic that would happen against the Trailblazers. All right. It is time now for our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to grab a victory over the Memphis Grizzlies? First off, what kind of healthy bodies will they have? The injury report as of yesterday has Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard, Matisse Thybulle, and Blake Wesley out. We already knew that. Donovan Clingan, who didn't play against the Pistons, is listed as questionable with a left lower leg contusion. Robert Williams, at last update, also listed as questionable with a illness. So we'll see if either of those guys play. I do believe that Young Hansen has been called back up after a good stint there at Child Center with the Rip City Remix. If they need him, he'll be ready to go. Hopefully Klingen's ready to go, because I know NBA fans, Blazer fans, and Grizzly fans who also love college basketball love the Zach Edey, Donovan Clingan matchups, because we got so many of those in the NCAA and the NCAA tournament. So it's always fun when those two get to go against each other. So hopefully Donovan Clingan is ready to go tonight. But again, what do the Blazers need to do? Really, again, I want to go back to being consistent, right? The Grizzlies team is a consistent team. They just don't have a lot of depth right now. If Jaw's playing, if he's not playing, that changes everything with this team in every single game. They're still going to get good performances out of guys like Jaren Jackson Jr., but what you get the rest of the way is where you can find ways to beat this team, because it's not like they're going to light you up every single night. Their defense is going to be good but bad, so you're going to find those holes and take advantage of them. First thing for me, again, going back to being consistent, you got to have a good performance out of your auxiliary players, and that includes Toumani Camara. You can't have a 1.6 foul game. You need to be locked in. Ideally, if you're shooting 4 of 8, 4 of 9, you're having a pretty good night, and that's what you want out of Toumani Camara. And then just be smart with your fouls. You can't get into a situation where you have 3 players foul out. Be smart with how you play the game. Understand that, yes, you cannot get on the hip of every single player on every single play, because you're going to put yourself in those compromised positions. And then especially a game like Detroit, if you find that the whistle is kind of tight like that, then understand that you might have to adjust your style of play. And if that's the case, so be it. Just be smart enough to do so. So be consistent on that end. Secondarily, this is a great opportunity for Denny Avdia to go get himself another triple-double. And also, I want to look at guys like Sidy Cissoko, who has been doing a good job of filling in at that point guard spot and trying to move the ball around. The Memphis Grizzlies team, again, for the longest time, built on defense, and they still can have their nights where they're up, but they also have their nights when they're down. Again, they aren't as good as Grind City was years ago, but they come into this game averaging 7.2 steals per game, which is the 6th lowest number in the NBA. So they're not going to put a ton of pressure on you there when it comes to moving the ball around the horn. And then also, we had talked about against teams like Detroit and Cleveland to really attack the rim. They block a lot of shots. That means that you can also get to the foul line because you might put them in that position because you know that they're going to be aggressive. Memphis is a team that's middle of the road when it comes to shot blocking, 4.6 blocks per game. So defensively, take advantage of those things. Move the ball around and get to the rim. Move a ball around, find those open three-pointers, because if you start getting to the rim, they start collapsing a little bit. That's where you can get Toumani Camara in the corner and start taking shots that are high percentage shots for those players. And then hopefully it gets them out of that slump a little bit. Now for Memphis, they're similar to Portland in the fact that they're going to try to get the ball and push the tempo when they can. They average 90 shots per game, which is top 10 in the league. Put that in perspective. The Blazers are 3rd in the league in shot attempts, and they have 91.9. So they average just almost 2 more shots per game than Memphis. So Memphis is going to be a team that's going to try to push that tempo on you. And if you're the Blazers, don't let them beat you at your game. Play your game and flex on them a little bit. Absolutely, you're going to have to. This game, when I talk about these teams being similar, the only difference being a consistent versus an inconsistent team. We talk about their field goal attempts are close to each other. 3-point percentage also right in the same realm. The Blazers right now, unfortunately, Blazer fans, dead last in the league in 3-point percentage at 32.9 per game. Memphis, 33.6, the 3rd worst in the league. So yeah, this game's going to be tight. Who flexes first? Hopefully it's the Trailblazers. All right, I think that's going to do it for us here today on Blazers Game Day, but don't go anywhere because coming up next across the Trailblazers audio network, you'll have the Trailblazers pregame show, and then of course after that it's Travis Demers, your radio voice of the Blazers, on the call as Blazers versus Grizzlies here on Rip City Radio 620. And when it's all said and done, keep it here because it's the 5th quarter where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory, even if it means they all have to play 48 minutes like the Golden State Warriors did in 2010. Rip City, I'll talk to you after the game.